Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Simple English Talks. We're so happy you're here with us today. Whether you're listening while drinking your morning coffee, walking outside, or relaxing at home, thank you for spending some time with us. Today is going to be fun because we're not just learning English, we're going to test your English level together.
That's right. Hello, everyone. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Today's episode is a little different because we're going to challenge you. Don't worry, this isn't a school exam. There are no grades, no pressure, and no stress. This is simply a chance to discover how much English you already know.
Exactly. Sometimes learners study English for months or even years, but they never stop and ask themselves, what is my actual English level? Maybe you understand more than you think. Maybe you're already using English naturally without realizing it.
And maybe you'll discover some areas that need a little more practice. That's completely normal too. Every learner has strengths and weaknesses. The important thing is knowing where you are so you can continue improving.
Today, we'll go through different types of questions. Some will test your vocabulary, some will test grammar, others will test your understanding of real-life conversations. As we move through the episode, try to answer before we explain.
Grab a notebook if you'd like, or simply keep track in your head. We want this to feel like a conversation between friends, not a formal test.
By the end of today's episode, you'll have a much better idea of your current English level and what you should focus on next.
And we'd love to hear from you. After listening, tell us in the comments how many answers you got correct and which part was the most difficult for you.
Also, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Simple English Talks. Every week we create episodes to help you become more confident in English.
All right, let's begin our English level challenge and see what you can do.
Let's start with some basic English questions. If you can answer these easily, you're already building a strong foundation. Remember, English sentences often follow a simple pattern: subject plus verb plus object.
Here's the first question. Which sentence is correct? Option A, she go to school every day. Option B, she goes to school every day.
The correct answer is option B. We add S to the verb when talking about he, she, or it in the present simple tense.
Let's try another one. Option A, I am happy. Option B, I happy.
The correct answer is I am happy. The verb to be is necessary here. Without it, the sentence is incomplete.
Great. Here's another. Which sentence sounds natural? They are playing football or they playing football?
The correct answer is they are playing football. The helping verb are is important when using the present continuous tense.
Now, let's look at vocabulary. What does hungry mean?
It means you want food. Simple, right?
How about borrow? Many learners confuse borrow and lend.
Good point. If I borrow a book, I take it from someone temporarily. If I lend a book, I give it to someone temporarily. Listeners, can you make your own sentence using the word borrow? Write it in the comments.
Here's a real-life example. Yesterday, I borrowed a pen from my friend because I forgot mine at home.
That's something many people can relate to. Now let's test listening skills through imagination. If someone says, "It's raining cats and dogs," are animals falling from the sky?
Definitely not. It's an idiom. It means it's raining very heavily.
Excellent. Understanding idioms is often a sign that you're moving beyond beginner English.
Now let's discuss negative forms. If the positive sentence is I like coffee, the negative form becomes I don't like coffee.
And if we say she likes tea, the negative form becomes she doesn't like tea.
Notice that when we use doesn't, the verb returns to its base form. We say doesn't like, not doesn't likes.
That's a very common mistake among learners.
Let's practice together. Can you change this sentence into a negative sentence?
They play basketball.
The answer is they don't play basketball.
Wonderful. If these questions felt easy, you're probably beyond the beginner stage already.
Quick summary. Remember subject-verb agreement, use helping verbs correctly, learn vocabulary in context, and practice negative forms regularly.
Now let's move to the next level. This section is a little more challenging. Here, we're testing whether you can use English naturally in real-life situations.
Let's begin with everyday conversations. Imagine your friend asks, "How was your weekend?"
A basic answer might be, "It was good."
That's correct, but a stronger answer could be, "It was great. I spent time with my family and watched a movie."
Adding details makes your English sound more natural and confident.
Here's another situation. Someone asks, "What do you do?"
They usually want to know your job or occupation.
Exactly. A natural answer could be, I'm a teacher, or I work in marketing.
Now, let's compare formal and informal English.
Informal. Thanks.
Formal, thank you very much.
Informal. Can you help me?
More polite, could you help me please?
Understanding these differences helps you communicate appropriately in different situations.
Let's do a quick practice activity. I'll give a situation, and you think of the best response.
You're entering a meeting 5 minutes late. What could you say?
A natural response is, I'm sorry I'm late.
Excellent. Now imagine you don't understand something.
You could say, could you explain that again, please?
First tip, don't memorize isolated words. Learn complete phrases.
Second tip, listen to English every day, even for 10 minutes.
Third tip, speak out loud whenever possible.
Many learners understand English, but hesitate to speak.
That's true. Confidence grows through practice, not perfection.
Another important skill is asking questions. In real conversations, communication is not only about answering questions correctly, it's also about asking good questions that help keep the conversation moving. For example, you might ask someone, where do you live? If you want to know about their city or country. You might ask, what do you enjoy doing in your free time? If you want to learn about their hobbies and interests. Or perhaps you ask, why are you learning English? Because you're curious about their goals, dreams, or future plans. Being able to ask and answer these kinds of everyday questions is one of the strongest signs that you're becoming more comfortable and confident in English.
If you can comfortably ask and answer these questions without needing a lot of time to think, your conversational skills are developing very well. It means you're moving beyond simply memorizing words and grammar rules. You're beginning to use English as a real communication tool. That's a wonderful step in your learning journey, because real conversations are what language is all about.
Let's review what we've learned so far. Natural communication requires several important skills working together. First, you need vocabulary, so you have enough words to express your ideas. Second, you need confidence, so you're not afraid to speak, even if you make a few mistakes. Third, you need complete answers, because one-word responses often make conversations stop quickly. And finally, you need an understanding of formal and informal language, so you can choose the right words for different situations and different people.
Exactly. If you followed most of this section comfortably and understood the examples without too much difficulty, there's a good chance you're already moving into an intermediate level of English. That's something you should be proud of. Many learners spend a long time building this foundation, and every small improvement matters.
Now, let's explore another important sign of English growth: expressing opinions, feelings, and personal experiences. This is where conversations become more meaningful, because you're not just sharing facts anymore. You're sharing your thoughts, emotions, preferences, and perspectives.